Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Noble Network of Charter Schools Virtual College Fair. Thank you so much for joining us. We are really excited you are here. My name is Catherine, and I will be your facilitator for this session. Before we get started, we do have a few housekeeping items to note. First, your camera and microphone are off. You are muted and your video is off. The panelists can't see or hear you. If you have any questions at all, feel free to use the Q&A button to type in your questions to the presenters at any time. They are here, ready and available to answer your questions. And all sessions are being recorded, including this one, and will be available at strivescan.com/noble. We are currently in session B1, where my mouse is circling at the moment. And this is also the same order of presentation. So without further ado, I'll get out of the way and introduce our very first representative from Morris College.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Excellent, excellent, good. Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Christopher Hall. I'm from Morris College, and we're located in sunny Sumter, South Carolina. If you don't know where Sumter is, we're actually in the geographical center of South Carolina. We are about 1 hour from the capital, which is Columbia, South Carolina. And most of our students like, we're only about 1 hour and 15 minutes from Myrtle Beach. So we're kind of strategically located in the right place. From Sumter, you can be anywhere in South Carolina in about 2 hours. So to tell you a little bit about Morris College was founded in 1908. So we've been in existence for about 113 years. We are a HBCU, and we're proud of that heritage. The unique thing about South Carolina is that it is totally owned and operated by the Baptist Convention of South Carolina. And it's been that way since the existence of the college. It was originally founded for preachers and teachers. If you talk about the history of the college, a lot of the teachers in South Carolina and now around the country, a lot of the educators, a lot of them passed through Morris College. But since that time, we have expanded our offerings. Currently, we have 21 majors, everything from computer forensics to criminal forensics to cybersecurity to the traditional education and business administration. So I welcome you to go to our website, look at the academics area, and look at what we have to offer. We also have 20 minors. Say you want to major in business administration, but you have an interest in criminal justice or interest in health sciences, you can minor in that as well. So we do have that option. Currently, tuition each semester is $11,266. So for a whole year, you're a little over $22,000, and that covers your tuition, your room and board for the entire year. So we're one of the most affordable colleges in the state of South Carolina, and we're a private institution. To tell you a little bit more about Morris College, we have a small campus, and what I always tell people is that at Morris College, you're not a number, you are a name. Most of the faculty and staff and administration, we know our students. We know where you're from. We know what your goals and dreams are. One of the common things we say on campus is Morris College feels like family. And that's what we really buy into that. My mom is a graduate, my sister is a graduate, and so many friends and associates around the country actually graduated from Morris College. Now, so what questions do people usually have about Morris College? Though we are a Baptist institution, we are still a institution of higher learning. We do have residence halls. Our residence hall are non-co-ed, so all the males live in one set of dormitories or residence halls, and the females live in another set of residence halls. So you can live on campus. One thing we asked about freshmen. Freshmen are not allowed to have their car on the campus their first year unless they have a job and they get a letter from their supervisor about needing transportation. So that's one of the good things. We also have a lot of scholarship money available. In fact, about a month ago, we had a generous donor who pledged about $700,000 to the college. So next year, which will be when you will start next fall, next August, he is going to select 30 individuals that will receive a free year of tuition. So that means you can finish your first year of college tuition free, tuition free, debt free for the first year. And what we like to remind students is, as long as you have a solid GPA and you're doing well, there's always money available for you. If you have not already completed your FAFSA, please do that. It opened on October 1st. We try to get everyone to complete that FAFSA as quickly as possible. And please add Morris College to your code. Write down this number. It is 003439. That's our school code to enter into the FAFSA. What that allows is that whenever one of our financial aid counselors wants to access your information to answer your questions, they can pull it up and see it. If you don't enter it at the time you call, you would have to go back in and enter that so that they would have access to that information. But that's the general overview of Morris College right now. We do have sports teams. Unfortunately, we don't have football, but we have 9 other sports. We have 8 of the Divine Nine, Greek fraternities and sororities, and we really like that HBCU life. We have a good time at Morris College. So I see the facilitators back on, so my time is about up. And if you have any questions, please feel free to give me an email. My email is really simple. It's chall@morris.edu. Thank you so much. Make it
Great.
more.
Great, thank you. The next representative is from Langston University.
Hello, everybody. I'm Kyle Gregory, and I'm a proud 2009 graduate of Langston University, Oklahoma's only historically Black college. I marched in the band. I lived the life. I believe in Langston because I lived it and saw how it helped me. So, brief introduction: played trombone in the band, marched in front of 60,000 people multiple times. Captain of the Quiz Bowl team. I coach it now. I went from a graduate in 2009 with no debt to go on to law school. I paid for my first year of law school out of pocket. Langston has been good to me. Let's talk about how good it can be for you. 10 years before Oklahoma was even a state, Langston University was founded. So we're older than the state of Oklahoma. We started off without any buildings. We're a land grant institution, which makes us eligible for extra scholarship money. But unlike many of the other land grant schools, we weren't necessarily given the funding. So we started off basically with prayers, bake sales, and community support. And that grew us from a graduating class of 3 people to over 1,750 today. But even bigger news, we're now 3rd in Oklahoma in grant. So stop and think about this. There are about 34 colleges in Oklahoma. OU and OSU, the only 2 bigger than us, have 25,000 enrolled. We've got 1,750. We get more grant money than schools that are 10 times our size. So when you think about it, would you rather compete with 15 people in your major for an elite internship or maybe 1,500? Let's keep going. Housing wise, it's nice from the start. You have your own private room in a 4-bedroom apartment. Year 2, a 3-bedroom apartment with a full-size bed, big closet, beautiful campus. We're one of the most beautiful campuses in the nation. Then we have the commons. If you have a child, you can bring them to the campus and have a 2-bedroom apartment designed especially for you. Access is what we're about. And then Young Hall's our traditional dorm. If you commit to a slate or you just want to save money by being in a traditional dorm setting, we've got that for you. We also have free tutoring in every class, over 40 organizations on our campus, 8 of the Divine Nine and the Greek life on our campus. And we've got the largest collection of African American and African artifacts and books in the state of Oklahoma. We also offer elite internships. A few, for example, did you know that we have a partnership with Harvard Medical School? You can go from Langston, Oklahoma, where you get the HBCU experience, to go in the summer to these schools like Harvard, Yale, and Stanford that cost over $70,000 a year. And you could get that experience at some of these top Ivy League schools for free and still come back home to Oklahoma and get that HBCU experience. You can't beat it. We've got 6 schools of study to choose from, including our elite program in physical therapy. We were the first to offer the doctoral program in Oklahoma, and we've got a 100% job placement rate, a 100% passage rate on the NCLEX exam, and a 100% job graduation rate within the last 4 years. On top of that, we've been ranked as the #1 HBCU for the BSN in nursing out of 40 plus colleges by 2 different rating agencies. And we're accessible. That's one of the reasons why. Some of the schools in Illinois and California, it's hard to get into the nursing program. If you do well here, you'll have access to it. We're also #1 in the world for small ruminant research for animals. So we've got the Iquique de la Garza Goat Research Institute. If you want to have one of these state-of-the-art animal science programs at the undergraduate level, we will prepare you for these elite vet schools like Tuskegee, like Oklahoma State, et cetera, and we'll do it a lot cheaper than most. We've got about 42 different majors to choose from. I can't hit all of them, but a few highlights include we put out more CPAs per capita than pretty much every school in the state of Oklahoma. Our English department is a great program for getting you to law school. We've also got elite programs like public health. We're the only school in the state with that to offer, and with a focus on minority health and wellness. Athletics wise, we're an NAIA program, but we are the winningest small school program in Oklahoma, and that includes the D2 schools over these last 6 years. We've won our conference 4 out of 6 years. And if you're going to go to a small school to play ball, go to an HBCU. Nowhere else would you get that big band experience where our 250-piece band is behind you, roaring in your ear. You've got the HBCU style cheerleaders, and it's a packed house. You'll love these football games. Basketball is rebuilding right now. Please send your film in. We've got a great coach Stitt building our program up. Our women's basketball team is elite right now. They're going to compete for a championship. Ashika Alexander got into camp with the Minnesota Lynx last year, and she's back for one final season. We're so excited, and they're going to make a run at it. You also see the other sports we have to offer: softball, volleyball, club soccer, and our band. Let's talk about this. We're one of the top 8 HBCU bands in the entire nation. We've grown from 40 members just 3 years ago to about 230, 240 this past year, and we anticipate being 300 deep next year. And here's why: scholarships. Our band members and students with a 3.0 and above get the in-state price. That's right. If you have a private room for $17,245 a year for tuition fees, room and board, and your books before the FAFSA is your in-state price. That's for everyone with a 3.0 coming out of high school and those that march in the band. Or if you share a room, once we get past COVID, you can attend for less than $15,000, and that includes the parking fees, the laundry fees, all of that's in there. And even out of state, we're still $20,000 less than the larger HBCUs at that $24,441 price. The EP McCabe Scholarship, this one's life-changing. I'm coming to the end of the time, but this one you have to hear. A 3.5 GPA and a 22 ACT or 1100 SAT could pay for your entire college. You could walk out of school with no debt. Regents, a 3.3 if you didn't test well, could pay your room and board. Bookmark tmcf.org. They're good for all public HBCUs like Lincoln and Langston on here. USDA 1890 is also good at both Lincoln and Langston. Google that. And then we waive out of state fees, like I said, in 3.0. We can guarantee you a scholarship at a 2.5. Our application is free. We'll admit you at a 2.4. And here's our contacts. Thank you for your time.
Very helpful information. Thank you. Just a friendly reminder that if anyone has any questions at all, to feel free to submit those questions using the Q&A button towards the bottom of your screen. Any questions at all, our representatives are here to assist. And if you have a specific question, we encourage you to include the school name. Our last representative, but certainly not least, is from Lincoln University of Missouri.
So hello, everyone, and I will be brief. So I'm going ahead and I'm going to share my screen now. I've already put our contact information for our admissions office and myself on the inside of the chat box already. Can we see the screen just fine? So I hope that we can. So really brief, I'm going to go over.
Yes, you're good.
Oh, awesome. I'm going to go over some really brief things about Lincoln University. So some of the things we're going to go over is the history, the top academic majors, our actual life at Lincoln, the cost of attendance, and the admissions criteria and scholarships. So before we even get started, Lincoln University is 150 years old plus. So we was founded by the 62nd and 65th Colored Infantry. And so we're basically founded by Civil War veterans, so former Black slaves. So we're a historical Black college and university. So the story goes briefly that they learned how to read and write during the Civil War from their white officer, Lieutenant Baxter Foster. So fun fact about the 1800s, it was illegal for Black people to learn how to read and write at that time. And so for them to learn, it was truly illegal. So during that time, after being exposed to education, they decided to actually save up their money and actually purchase the land that Lincoln University was founded on. So one of the other things that I want to go through is anytime that we get an opportunity to pay honor to our soldiers, we most definitely take that opportunity. So moving right along, I want to go into our Lincoln academics, and I want to show you our top 10 programs. So we have agriculture, biology, business administration, computer information systems, criminal justice, elementary education, journalism, nursing, and psychology and wellness. So even though these are our top 10, we have some beautiful photos here, but we have 35 plus majors. And what makes all of our majors amazing is that 17:1 classroom size. So once you get into the actual classroom, the size is 17:1. So flowing right along, we're going to go into the actual life at Lincoln. So the life at Lincoln, so I just want to give you some exposure, give you some insight to what that looks like. So we do have 9 different residence halls on campus with a max of 1,100. So we have a little bit over 2,000 students. So that's graduate and undergraduate students, and that is students that live on campus and commuter students. So some of the things to look forward to is we do have our own Lincoln University Police Department, so we keep everybody safe. We have 35 plus registered student organizations from the fraternities and sororities, so that Divine Nine, academic organizations, military like Army ROTC. We have recreational, we have our own wellness center here, so you be able to work out. You have a membership to that gym automatically, religious and visual and performing arts, so dancing and singing as well as some of those organizations that you can get involved in. So we have some awesome photos here that I'm just going to show you briefly. And we'll be going on to the cost of attendance. So with the cost of attendance, really quickly so we do have flat rate tuition. So that means no matter if you take 4 classes or 6 classes at Lincoln, it's the same price. So I'll say that again, no matter if you're taking 4 classes or 6 classes, it's the same price at Lincoln. So think about that as a scholarship automatically for all of our students. So in-state tuition, when it comes to tuition and mandatory fees, $4,101, out of state, $7,596. 90% of our students do receive some type of financial aid. So it doesn't matter if it's grants, loans, or scholarships. So that's something to look forward to as well. So moving right along, let's talk about the admissions criteria. So the criteria, so because we're founded by soldiers that didn't have that formal education, we actually keep that barrier of entry low on purpose. So a 2.0 GPA, a 17 on the ACT, 830 on the SAT, official high school transcripts. Of course, we are open enrollment for the state of Missouri. So even if you have that less than 2.0, you can still have the opportunity to be conditionally accepted to the university. And right before the last thing, I have scholarships that I want to go over briefly. So this is brand new for the university. So we have a brand new sliding scale for scholarships. So right across the top, if you see where the GPA is and the SAT and SAT scores on the left-hand side, you can just mirror where is your GPA and where is your ACT test score, and see how much money that we'll literally take off of your tuition and fees. And so this is something that you don't have to apply for. It's automatic, and it's up to 8 semesters. So that's all 4 years. Another opportunity, we have the LU Connecting Scholarship. So if any state touches the state of Missouri, we give those students in-state tuition automatically. So you see this out-of-state price, cross it out. If you're from one of these states, you'll get in-state tuition. So that's another opportunity. So the last thing that I have for you is a short video just to give you some insight to the actual Blue Tiger Party. So the Blue Tiger Party happens on the inside of the classroom and on the outside. And I hope that I can be able to share that experience with you here. But most definitely, I got our contact information in the chat already. But most definitely, here's our information right there for you on the screen. And so I'll dive into the video. So this is the Blue Tiger Party.
No party like a Blue Tiger Party, cause the Blue Tiger Party don't stop. Ain't no party like a Blue Tiger Party, cause the Blue Tiger Party don't stop. No party like a Blue Tiger Party, cause the Blue Tiger Party don't stop. Ain't no party like a Blue Tiger Party, cause the Blue Tiger Party don't stop.
So I'll pause the video there for the sake of time. I'm Davion Thomas with Lincoln University of Missouri, and thank you all. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Great information. Thank you. We do have some time left. And so at this time, we're going to pivot into our Q&A portion of this session. I do invite all the representatives at this time to go ahead and turn on their cameras to get ready to unmute themselves. For our first question here, which is, what advice would you give someone going through the college search process? What advice would you give someone going through the college search process? We'll go ahead and get started in the same order in which you all presented in.
Well, thank you. This is Chris Hall at Morris College again. The advice I would give someone going through the college search process is first try to decide on what major you want to major in, and then start looking at colleges that offer that major. Once you have gotten that group down, then start looking at the college that offers other things that you're interested in, whether you're interested in athletics or you're interested in Greek life, and keep, whittling down that number until you find the college that you are a great fit for. And I bet you it's Morris College.
I'll be brief, but I hit on 2 prongs. When you look at the cost of attendance of schools, you have to read the fine print. Some of these schools will put their cost at the cheapest level dorm in a shared dorm when they don't offer that during COVID. So look at the fine print, look at how many hours is covered. Both Lincoln and Langston are on that block tuition, 12 to 18, same amount. We also look if it's private room, then part 2, apply for local scholarships. Those can go to any college you decide to go to. So if you switch your decision, your local scholarship money will still follow you for a lot of that. So tmcf.org, uncf.org, those are great for the HBCUs, but look local, like Rotary Club, Kiwanis Club, all of those organizations have scholarships that can go to multiple institutions.
My tidbit is to if you can actually visit the campus to get a feel for the people that's there. That tells you a lot more about the campus than just the photos and the videos, right? And so you're most definitely looking for that comfortable environment. And I say the classroom size, big or large, doesn't matter to me, but what are you going to be comfortable with? Because that's your main reason for going off to college, is for that classroom setting. So look and see what that looks like. How much is the tutoring? It could be an additional cost. We do have free tutoring as well here at Lincoln. So that's another benefit, but ask those questions because you're there to be academically poured into, if that makes sense. I digress. Thank you.
No, that's great. And, as many folks are trying to figure out what their options are. We want to know what's available. And so it's great to hear directly from those who work at their respective institutions to just offer advice and tips and suggestions during this time. So that's helpful. Thank you. Our next question here is, what's one thing you want students to remember about your school? What's one thing you want students to remember about your school?
I assume we're going in the same order again. The one thing that I want everyone to remember about Morris College is that you are a name and not a number. We consider everybody on Morris College's campus as family. And you know, family takes care of family. So make it Morris.
Affordability meets accessibility at Langston. We talked about the #1 ranked nursing program of all HBCUs. We also talked about getting into that program and being able to afford it. Like I said, you can attend Langston with a 3.0 for $17,245 a year before you pass. So where do they do that at?
And Davion here at Lincoln University. For me, I would like to bring light onto our founding. So we're founded by former slaves. So when it comes to that care that we take, we're helping you actually gain that access, keep that access to education, and make sure that it's affordable for you. So one of the things that we say is that you get a private school education for a public price here at Lincoln University. And that's it for me. Thank you.
Great. Each institution is truly unique, as you can tell by everyone's responses. So really nice things to keep in mind during this time as well. Our next question here is, what is one myth you would like to debunk on the college admissions process? What is one myth you would like to debunk on the college admissions process?
Well, probably the biggest myth is that, you know, a lot of students they don't understand, or they don't believe that they can afford college. We're going to do everything in our power to make sure you can afford college. And when you leave with the smallest amount of debt possible, if any. So you can afford college, and we can make that happen.
I'll piggyback on that. The myth is HBCUs aren't affordable, but all 3 schools on this call, we are. I mean, think about it like this. An Illinois resident could attend Langston in Oklahoma, cheaper than an Oklahoma resident could attend the University of Oklahoma. Let that sink in. Think about that. That's all I'll leave you with. But these 3 colleges, affordable HBCUs.
For me, I just want to be an advocate for higher ed in general. So I'm pro go to school somewhere. So for me, it would be that myth of, hey, I know it's a lot of Bill Gates and Elon Musk out there, right? Right? It's not that really many of them out there. But when it comes to education at that higher ed level, it's so personal and intimate to you. So I just want to be an advocate in this moment just for college in general. We're still out here adding value to people and creating those safe spaces for them to reinvent themselves. So that's my myth for me. It's needed, and I'm an advocate for it. Thank you.
And there are a lot of myths out there. And so it's great to hear you all debunk them and kind of change the narrative for a lot of students going through the college search process or the college application process. And it can be daunting at times, but again, you all have brought a lot of comfort. So that's great. Our last question here is, share a fun fact about your institution.
There are so many. But while the other presenters were talking, there's one myth that I think all of us will agree on that we missed, is that the quality of an HBCU education is the same quality or a higher quality of any institution in this country. That's probably the biggest myth that we all face. People turn away from HBCUs because they don't believe they're getting the same quality of education. But we are accredited by the same accrediting bodies that are accrediting the largest universities, the Ivy League universities. We meet those same standards and we excel every time. So I had to make sure I got that in.
Yeah, the HBCU experience is really untouched. You get an education that you won't get elsewhere. On top of that, you know, Langston, Oklahoma, we're a historically Black town. A lot of people don't know that. We're named after John Mercer Langston, not Langston Hughes. That was his great grandnephew, basically great nephew. Look, you know what I'm saying. Anyway, we have 36 states and a lot of students from the Bahamas that converge on the small historically Black town of Langston, Oklahoma, and it makes for an incredible social experience.
All righty, Davion with Lincoln University of Missouri. One, I'll give you two fun facts. We are located in the capital of Missouri. So we're right here in the capital. So when it comes to those unique internships and those unique opportunities, we have those unique opportunities right here in our backyard. Also, Lincoln University, we started our own law enforcement academy. So we're actually certifying police officers through our university now. And I know that's something that's very new and it's extra and it's running rampant through the HBCU community. So most definitely look into the Law Enforcement Academy here at Lincoln University if you're interested. So it just started less than a year ago and we're excited about it and more to come. Thank you.
Thank you. Again, great information from all our panelists. So much to consider and to think about. We really appreciate their time. Thank you for joining us. And again, we have learned so much. And thank you to each of you for joining us. As we close, there'll be a very quick 5-question survey that will appear on your browser. If you don't mind taking a moment to fill that out for us, we would greatly appreciate it. And this session is being recorded. So feel free to check out this recording later on demand at strivescan.com/noble. Again, thank you all and have a great night.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.